When I came back, everyone told me to watch Castaway. For some reason I haven't until now. I'd been putting it off. Now I understand why. I'm no Tom Hanks, but I certainly understand why he needed to make Wilson his football-headed companion. I called mine housemates. I was aware of the basic premise of Wilson when people explained the story to me, but I had no idea how exactly the same it all was. The workings of the isolated, the problem solving, the need for something recognizable as a person or even just a face for that matter. Companionship in inanimate objects. I used to do the same when I was little. Companionship in toys. Buying them. Making them. Pretending I ran an animal sanctuary and laying them all out on different sized towels to denote enclosures or tanks. In class I would do the same with my stationery. Blue tack. Bits of scrap paper. Pen lids. Etc. Making up stories in my head or reenacting films hoping nobody noticed me at the back of the class. There's something really interesting about the way in which we interact with and project onto inanimate materials. Perhaps this has something to do with an infantile attempt at connecting with others without the anxieties that come with making new friends, or a subconscious desire as humans to create families and life, or something along those kind of deep-rooted instinctual lines. These attempts at mimicking life is essentially the basis of all art practices. The idea of wanting to make a sculpture of another person or to paint or photograph them, in a way, is totally bizarrely as a thing that we do as people. Sculpture in particular is so striking in that a sculpture of a person physically occupies the same amount of space as a real person, and if it could breathe it would use the same amount of oxygen as the rest of us. The fact that it can't breathe is probably the only thing that stops it from being alive in that kind of classic Frankenstein way. But back to Tom Hanks. The way in which he interacts with Wilson makes me think the work I've made is less a product of circumstantial ingenuity and more to do with circumstantial insanity. Although I didn't necessarily communicate verbally with my sculptures, they certainly fulfilled the same need for companionship. Inanimate objects, especially when we're on our own, always seem to act as surrogates. Memories, people, stories, loved ones, friends, pets, even emotional punching bags. Hank's character uses his Wilson as a surrogate for another person. I'm sure after 4 years I would be speaking to crumpled up tinfoil heads with bottle top eyes in the same way. Seeing it on screen, I could hardly believe that his need to find some resemblance of something person-like was so identical to my own. He puts a lot onto Wilson emotionally, and I feel that we kind of do that with art as well. There's so much projection going on during the making process that we don't even realize what we've made till much later. When Wilson is eventually lost at sea, Hank's character bawls his eyes out uncontrollably. During that scene, all I could think about was something or someone crushing my work and smashing it into tiny pieces that I'd never be able to fix. After Wilson disappears over the horizon, it's like a safety blanket is ripped away. I found that the rest of the film onwards made me very anxious. 1:50 a.m. The sky clears. The waves are still big. The fish are back. And then come the sharks, cutting through the water. I can't get up to get my spear. I just have to watch as blood darkens the water. And then the sharks are gone. I slowly come to my knees. Then a big wave. Wilson is swept into the ocean. For a moment I am uncomprehending. I watch Wilson slowly float away. Shit, Wilson. Please, no sharks. I dive into the water and swim frantically after Wilson. Wilson floats away from me. I swim, but I'm so weak. Finally I get to Wilson. I reach out only to push Wilson further away. He bobs on the waves. I tread water exhausted. Where is the raft? Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. It's drifted away from me. I can't reach Wilson without losing it. Shit, Wilson. I return to the raft. Too weak to save Wilson. I lay on the raft panting. Wilson. Nothing but waves. This is too much. I begin to cry.